Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Suppose so. That's why I'm here.
Fantastic. Let's fucking hit it. Gentlemen, welcome back to Dungeons and Dragons. After a brief hiatus, we are back. And back at quite a convenient point in the story, because you just finished an arc, leveled up and shit. It was great. Let's just quickly recap where we left off, because last time you'd been in the Feywild, collecting the God-claimed blade from Killian the Shifter. You just finished defeating the Demon Queen and Mother of the Singing Valley, and Mother of Three of the Fifth. It was a good one. And you were deciding on what to do with her. After a vote, you decided to spare her. Upon Killian's return, he gave a couple of options as to what she wanted to do, and she chose to leave the grove and leave the valley and live elsewhere, not being a prisoner to her son. And here you tentatively gave Killian the crown, as he gave you the blade, which, as it turned out, happened to be on the horn of his horse, Horatio. Seemed when he said to you it would be very difficult to give you the blade, it meant it would be very difficult to see Horatio without the horn he'd grown to love on his head, after all that had happened to him. But getting the crown would make it easier, as he would sort of ease the blow for him because he'd get all this stuff. He also revealed that he was Alfie Vitherlinks and led you to him in the first place. Killian was a bastard. I loved him. He felt a little bad about the wordplay, so he gave Felix some Fey gems for giving him the idea to put another horn on Horatio's head. And he gave the rest of you a mark of the Arc Fey, which acts as a divine intervention. Anyone can use. Use an action, divine intervention, ask for something you want, and he will do his best. But remember, he's not a god, he's an Arc Fey, so he might have a little bit of a Feywild twist on it. He then let you leave, but as he summoned the portal, Borisov appeared behind him, grappled him, burning his head. He warned you of what would happen should you not complete the work of Tiamat's priests. But before he could harm Killian further, Galahad threw a dagger at his wrist, freeing Killian. From there, you teleported to the Raven Queen's castle, and you took a long rest in one of the many towers in the Fortresses of Memories. Waking up the next morning, you went to create the Excalibur blade. The Raven Queen teleported you and her to a series of spiked mountains in a sea of shadow on the castle, and explained to you the process of reforging the Godswing blade. You need to create, Kaiman needed to create 3 pins to connect the hilt and the blade together. However, you needed to imbue these pins with sort of celestial magic to activate the power of the blade. So to do this, the Raven Queen would move the moon slightly away from the sun, creating a ray of sort of pure celestial energy upon the tip of the peak. Kaiman would then need to dip his glove into this energy and transfer just the right amount of power into these pins so they could fuse the blade and hilt together. Kaiman created the pins, and thanks to the fire rune of Felix, blessings of Galahad, warding bond of Griffin, he was able to imbue the pins with celestial energy and finally temper the god's blade to completion. Galahad attuned to the blade, and your job was done. Raven Queen thanked you one last time for your services, said if you could help in any other way, she may be able to. Finally, teleported you home. We now appear in the capital's Falcon District, early in the morning, 3 days after you originally left. It is a quiet morning. It is about sort of 6 a.m. in the morning. You can see over the sort of like many houses and things, and just sort of over to see the sun is rising. Yes, he does. Apologies. Sun is rising up in the morning. It's a few clouds dapple the sky. It's gonna be one of them mornings where it's quite chilly and cold, but there's not. But you can like see the sun. It's quite bright in the sky and clear in the sky. You probably recognise where you are. You're about sort of 20 minutes, half an hour walk from home. Certainly earlier than most shops would be open. I think maybe the library might be open, and a few other places like most temples and things like that would probably be open as well. And I'll leave this up to you guys. What would you like to do? Last time you were thinking of having a big meeting with all the guardians and everything to discuss the next steps and the next plans. So yeah, I leave this to you guys. What do you guys want to do?
Retire, I think.
Let's retire.
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll maybe time to migrate.
That's been a good campaign, boys.
Yeah, I just think we're finished, aren't we? No, I think we need to send the old. Need to put together a little suicide squad that's going to go deal with Baltimore.
Yeah. All right. Well, to do that, I imagine you'll first have to head home and find the people for the suicide squad.
Yeah. So a meeting, send around the messages.
Cool. So I'm assuming
The
you head
beacons are
home.
lit.
Yeah, you head on home. By the time you get home, it's about sort of past 6 in the morning. You can see that your housekeeper is already sort of home and in. Before you even see your housekeeper at your house, you can see a very old and very naked man laid upon the sort of front porch of your house. And a couple of you would recognize this individual as Nathaniel, the skull-turned bard that Dr. Mir kept around with him and ended up transforming from a skull into a human being. He's asleep, fully nude, like just on the front porch, using one of the steps as a pillow.
Who is here at this point?
At this point, all of them, you're all stood here.
I think the same characters that just did the deed. Like,
Yes,
Galahad.
characters who just did this. So Galahad, Damien, Simon, Felix, and Griffin. So Galahad and Griffin, you would recognize this guy. Felix and Simon, you have no idea who this is. Well, I actually put you on your house map. Oh. The boy's got a house.
You say he's naked on the doorstep?
Yeah, he's like lying there naked on the front doorstep. Just
is he asleep?
Yeah, he's asleep.
Can I open the door without disturbing him?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll say like he's like very heavily asleep. Like even in your heavy armor and everything, you don't need to make a stealth check. You just walk around him, unlock the door.
Just walk past and go in, I think.
Yeah, walk past, go in. You can just say, and yeah, walk past and go in. Yeah, the housekeeper Lydia, you can already smell the sort of sweet smells of breakfast being cooked this early in the morning. She didn't know you guys were coming, but I'm assuming as when you come to them now, several of you might be up early. At the very least, she gets you up early. She is an old dwarven woman, is your housekeeper. So she is like right up and early. She used to serve like military generals who were like up at the crack of dawn. So as she heard you come in, you just say, "Oh, go on in, dear. Characters will be sorted for you shortly." You know, sort of like any armor or anything you want clean, just put it in the basket. Just shouting from the other end of the house. You do have in terms of your house staff, you have 3 people. You have a guy called John, who is a younger lad, Lydia's grandson. He is your messenger, like general, just like house hand. I guess you would say, like he can.
Page.
Yeah, he can go send messages. He can go deliver messages. He can go pick things up for you from the shop. Go sort of do whatever the fuck you guys want him to do in his means, I suppose.
Are there any other guardians?
I don't know if that is a question for you guys. What would the other guardians realistically be sleeping in the house right now? So we've got Doc would be here. Doc would be here. Oramus here.
He'd be living up in the mansion, yeah, for sure.
And Glendon.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Nevado is just in this tree.
That is fair.
Some swearing.
Drinkers of the North. It was never quite clear whether you guys let them stay here as well.
Nah, they're not really guardians.
That's fair. But Nevado's in the tree.
They didn't save the city.
It's so days, isn't he?
They can have a house in Northgard.
No one wants a house. Prices in Northgard are a fucking joke. No one wants property in Northgard.
Could it be because of the orcs? And the goblins that attacked it?
It's just there is no property market.
Maybe because of the freezing fucking cold.
Everything's been leveled.
Yeah.
Yeah, by Glendon.
I think-
with fireballs.
Or
Mazzy
a meteor strike. Who knows? I
Mazzy
think-
isn't here.
I think he would
Mazzy
be
is
here.
with Daviak. Doing his long story short, they're on a morning job. Because Mazzy.
Pair of losers.
Yeah.
Which
An
one
Easter egg.
is Captain America and which one is Sam Wilson?
Naviak is obviously Captain America.
I agree.
Neither. They're
Giri would be here, I think. But maybe possibly, staying here, but possibly out training people already. What time of day did you say it was?
It's like 6:30 in the morning right now.
Sure, it might be here.
Does have her blades. Depends
Yeah.
how early you'd want to get them up. Sure. Sagiri's already.
We'll say she's training the people off in the
Yeah.
barracks, whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Sweet. Names obviously in here, and well, Baltimore obviously isn't one. Right. Cool. So, is there anyone you would like collected for this? So we'll say sort of, maybe an hour goes by, breakfast is served, you guys can get out of your armor or into whatever. Breakfast is served. Mazzy and Daviak are back. Or at least Daviak has his own house, but he hears that you guys are here, so he comes on over to say hi. And there's a big meeting being set up. Do you want anyone else collected for this meeting? Anyone else from the city? There are counting there are. I don't know. Hammer the blacksmith.
But we are the council now, so
With the sub-council of the council.
we just make our own decisions.
You are several councilmen, yes. To remind you who is on the council.
I think the general plan is Daviak plus Northgard crew plus Kaiman plus Doc. So
Daviak, Northgard crew, Kaiman Doc.
Yeah. Well, the Northgard
So
crew
they
is still
are-
alive, seeing as one of the Northgard crew is a demon and the other one is dead.
He's not dead. He's just
No,
he's
not
just
not
an
dead.
alien.
He's
He's just having a slight identity crisis.
yeah.
He's having a second life crisis.
Identity crisis.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's your plan for,
Yeah, all his
And
close
so those
friends
three-
and Doc.
and you're sure those people are the ones you want facing Borisov.
Yeah.
What's he good at? Flinging fire.
Yeah. They're the ones that feel like they would be emotionally invested in this thing, and then Doc's got the clerical know-how. Ben, you said you were going to send me something for that as well, by the way.
I did. I got ill. Here we are.
Cool. No worries.
So never mind. I think I do actually have it. I'll just have to.
Yeah. And then Hyman's clerical backup, as well as he's decently fireproof, so he's a good one to bring.
Yeah, Kaiman's fully fireproof now.
Oh, is he immune to fire?
Yeah.
I thought he was
Kaiman-
just resistant.
That's the Forge Cleric level 17. Kaiman is immune to fire and resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
Damn. Okay,
Fair.
Kaiman's the new tank. Kaiman can tank and Doc will heal.
Don't just hire them.
Yeah, I quite like your healing, Carmen. What I questioned was how much damage you'd let yourself take.
Well, that's when the tank part comes in.
Yeah, but then you're healing yourself constantly while everyone else dies around you.
But if they weren't hitting me, then you would be dying. This is the healing form.
Okay,
It's so many times.
you can have it. Don't
When
talk
the,
to you
when
about
the
it
damage
anymore.
comes from an easily avoidable AoE, the tanking is less effective.
Mm.
I'll let them know your next move.
That is true. Kaima's next move is impossible to predict. I feel
Cool.
like even Ryan doesn't know.
So I'm assuming over this breakfast, you guys are, catching everyone up with what happened in the Feywild. Other people are catching people up with what they're doing, what they've done sort of at home, sort of thing of the past couple of days. Lyndon slightly throwing in that he can now just do any spell ever. Cool. So you have this breakfast around about an hour, sort of into breakfast. You guys just discussing stuff and openly thinking there is a knock at the door, and who else should step in? But the councilwoman of the people, Breda Duforge, is a half-elven woman, quite tall, sort of reddish brown hair, sort of like flows down quite fast. She's got like a similar coloured sort of fur coat on at the time, which is like a couple of guards away inside. And she steps in and goes, "Oh, hello, gentlemen. Sorry, I didn't mean to intrude your breakfast. I just overheard some people saying that you were several of you teleported in this morning in the street, and I thought while you were possibly all here, I would just update you on a couple of things and possibly get your opinion on something as, I suppose, councilman now. The first thing I wanted to say, this is a very nice home. Really spruce up the place. It's nice deathy vampire. Oh, lovely. I quite like it. Yes. Second thing I wanted to say was just an update on. Do you remember when you went to the? Do you remember when you went to the ball and you were to put rings on the Fableheart rings?
Yes.
Well, it would appear that has finally paid off, thanks to the efforts of Captain Duncan, as well as a few efforts of Sir Daviak over there. We were able to find that the Fableheart twins were housing the old councilman that betrayed us and sided with Lord Lazarus. It seemed during the siege, many of them escaped. They fled to the Fableheart's homes, and we were able to, in a raid and in a siege, arrest almost all of them. The only one still missing is Councilman Hamish, previous Councilman of Arts. We were able to sort of apprehend their home and several things, but their whole treasury was gone. It seems their family treasury had been taken from them. It seems it's been sacrificed by some cultists who I don't know. Dronigan's report said a dragon goddess, something like that. I can't remember the name he used, but their wealth had been done and used in some sacrifice. I don't think the Fable Hearts were, well, according to the report, the Fable Hearts weren't exactly thrilled with that. I guess they were berserk in somewhat. The second thing I wanted to speak to you on is we're trying to fill out the council a bit more, and one thing we are missing is a treasurer, councilman of
Sure, fucking hand down on this. This is a job for a Justicar.
We have narrowed down a few options from several people in merchant guilds and things, and she sort of pulls out two papers from this little merchant's bag she's got on the side. and sort of sets them down on the table. And these options are, as you can see here. We've managed to narrow it down to two individuals, Lysandra Thornbrook and Garrick Ironsoul, two individuals who are known throughout Amber for their charitable efforts and in several sort of merchant guilds and things like that. If you could take a look at this and give us your input, that would be very, very helpful. You can give it to me today or anything. My home's not too far. Anyway, I apologize for intruding on your breakfast. I just have one last thing. Clicks her hand, and suddenly several sort of servant people come in with flowers, and they just start putting them in vases that you guys didn't even realize you had, just all throughout the house. All different colors, all different types of flowers. Yeah. There we are. Smells a lot better in here. Warriors in their armor often get a little pungent. I thought this would be quite nice. Apologies. Anyway, Councilman, have a good day. Any issues? Let me know. And she steps out and leaves, unless there's anything you would like to ask her about anything. But otherwise, she dips out. Quickly read through these. So, Lysandra Thornbrook, she comes from a long line of noble merchants who held a considerable influence over the economy of Amber for generations. She grew up surrounded by wealth and privilege, but she's not one to rest on her family's laurels. Ambitious and determined, Lysandra has always had her eye on the treasury of Amber. She believes that her extensive knowledge of trade and economics makes her the perfect candidate to manage the nation's finances. She's cunning, shrewd, and not afraid to get her hands dirty to achieve her goals. Lysandra is known for her impeccable manners and charm, but underneath it all is fiercely competitive, will stop at nothing to win the position of treasurer. Pros, she has many connections and is in good standing with merchant families and guilds across Amber and foreign nations. She's also very, very knowledgeable because she grew up with around all these merchant guilds and all this wealth. She has extensive knowledge of complex trade and economics. Cons, however, she does have a little bit of questionable ethics, as well as a lot of guild families and things around here. She will make questionable decisions in pursuit of Amber's advancement, and she does have a bit of empathy for common folk. She's lived a life of wealth. She doesn't really know how the common folk live and what that money needs to be distributed to. Garrick Ironsoul, dwarven man. He hails from a humble background, born into a family of blacksmiths. Despite his modest upbringing, he always possessed an insatiable thirst for knowledge, particularly on matters of finance and governance. He managed to secure a scholarship to study economics at the prestigious college in Dernstadt. Garrick is a principled individual with a strong sense of duty and honor, like many dwarfs. He believes the treasury should be managed with integrity and transparency, free from the influence of wealthy elites. While he may lack the social grace and polish of his rival, Garrick makes up for it with unwavering commitment to the people of Amber. His pros are he's very honourable, he believes in transparency and accountability, and he's a man of the people. He's known by many people for his contributions and his work with lots of charitable efforts, and he will prioritise initiatives that promote social welfare. However, cons, he doesn't have the most experience in massive, wide-scale economic stuff, and he's a bit less politically savvy. He's not the most charismatic man on earth. So, which do you, as Guardians, as you are councilman now, do you think would be a better choice? If you were to possibly pick one.
Judges ducked away at a tricky decision.
I think Galahad would back Garrick. However, I think Oramus may back Lysandra. Because he also has some questionable ethics at times.
A lady after my own heart.
Enchanté.
I think all three of my characters would probably back Garrick actually, because he's probably the best option for the current time, with the capital needing a bit of a rehaul.
Yeah.
But would someone with lots of connections to wealthy and powerful people and families not be?
It depends. I'd like
It's
to know a bit
usually
more-
beneficial.
I'd like to know what her questionable ethics are.
For example, taking money out of certain social initiatives to fund, things that I suppose Amber would need maybe as a whole a little more. For example, taking things out of sort of social welfare for now, like a big chunk of social welfare for now, to fund, say, the army because we're in a bit of a struggle there. Or
I've seen this one.
Of
She's David Cameron.
in a little bit of that sort of thing.
I think Garrick's who you put in when you just need a bit of stability, and then I think Lysandra would be someone, if you had that stability, who could maybe elevate you a bit further.
Maybe we should try and meet these individuals.
No, I think what Ben's written is substantial. We should just go on a little adventure.
You certainly can meet them. It depends how involved in the council you guys want to be, I suppose. She's sort of given you this because you definitely got the sense that she was like, these guys, although we've given them positions as councilmen, a lot of them are probably at breakfast in their armor. They are not political folk. So I'll give them this, ask for a decision, and leave it at that, and we'll and other decisions would be up to you guys. But as councilman, you sort of thought you guys could have a step.
Bloody hell, mate.
Fucking 18 of the natural one. No.
It's more the fact that Luke's rolled 10 times and 6 of them have been natural ones.
That's no good.
Good thing we're not fighting any bosses right now.
Not right now. No.
That was Oramis trying to persuade everyone to go for the lady of.
Oramis just stands up. I have an opinion. No, sit down, Oramis.
Right. Galahad is also voicing for Garrick, by the way. So he's filming sound.
Okay. Sounds like most people are going for Garrett. Would that be sort of your decision then? Would I take it?
Well, let's take a vote.
Pardon?
Let's take a vote.
Take a vote. Okay.
Is everyone here?
I would say, yeah, pretty much everyone would say, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so Sam, you said all three of yours are voting for Garrick.
Probably.
So I'll keep a tally on my thing.
Galahad is also voting for Garrick. Nevedo's abstaining because he doesn't like politics.
That is correct.
And then Oramis is for Lysandra.
That's 1 for Lysandra, 4 for Garrick. What about Doc? What do you think?
Doc is principally for Garrick, but would like to meet both of them.
Okay.
Before making his final decision.
Doc abstains for the time being. Felix. I don't know, would Felix voice an opinion?
No, Felix would abstain on the grounds that he's not really interested in being a councilman. He might weigh in with an opinion siding with Garrick again, probably slightly biased by his history as in the family of blacksmiths and stuff like that. But Felix is pretty keen to be on the road again fairly soon. He's not planning on.
I want to be on the road again, and I won't vote, but I'll monologue for ages about who I think we should go for.
I mean, if the discussion was being had, he'd probably weigh in, but he doesn't. He's not valuing he doesn't see his opinion as having weight in the vote.
He's dead right.
What about Kyman's? Does Kyman have an opinion on this kind of thing?
Ivan thought we were ordering food.
Still,
He doesn't know what Lysandra is, or if that's a dish. So he's just kind of waiting for the menu to go around the table.
Can he read?
This? No.
There's
Well,
just too many words and not enough pictures for Kyman.
Right.
Just like that. So, I'm hungry.
Unsurprisingly,
I'm hungry while at breakfast.
unsurprisingly, Mazzy and
Daviat
Daviat
of the food.
both vote for Garrett, leading him to be, as Sam said, they need a bit of stability, need a bit of honor, especially after everything that happened previously. So far, there's pretty much everyone vote for Garrett, and Doc is yet to vote who wants to move. So we can say that's, I guess, what Doc does at some point, unless you'd like to sort of RP through that now. Though they're not both in the capital as of right now, so we travel. You would need to take out a little bit of travel for that. Cool. With that matter somewhat put to rest, your opinion is given to. I guess you would sort of like, between all of you, have to write a letter and sort of say that, oh yeah, most of us think this, Oramus thinks this. Doc is going to meet.
Well, I think in
Doc
terms of
would like to-
practicality, even if Doc does think Lysandra is better, he's going to be outvoted.
Well, yeah.
And so, yeah. The
Okay.
Guardian's collective position is for Garrick.
Okay. A letter is put together between all of you at breakfast, which I imagine is just a terrible affair of everyone screaming at one person as to what to write. Oramus constantly trying to sort of flick your pen around to between the life animal. And it's given to young John, and John runs off down the street after you fought.
Hey, we've got 3 people, by the way, Ben. There's Lydia, John, and what's the third one?
Lydia, John, and Bryn.
Oh, Ben!
And Bryn is exactly as you imagine, an older fellow, like an older dude who will take care of the grounds. So he'll take care of the outside, the finishings of the mansion, of the chapel on the side, and the grass, tree, bushes, the gate outside, anything like that you need done. If you want anything built on your property as well, so if you would like, I don't know, if you want like a small stables built on your property for Chikara.
Small stable.
Well, a stable big enough for Chikara.
To be fair,
you would just
like capturing a ship's hold.
go to him. He'll sort you out.
Aramis wants to know if he can have a pond for his boat.
Aramis, how would you get it in the pond? And then if you wanted to use it, how would you get it out?
You build a river from the sea.
And this is the story of how the River Oramus came to be.
That is an excellent suggestion.
Love it.
I feel like you just throw your name at everything until something sticks.
Bryn will get right on the river arms.
That planning for that is going to be an absolute nightmare.
We're on the council.
Council planning are separate.
Damn.
Yeah, Balzanor and Griffin are part of building rigs.
Unfortunately, it's all bad now.
It's all right. We're getting back.
I do like to think as well, Griffin. Like you came in, and on the floor were a bunch of letters from people asking for roofing work.
Yeah. Fucking business has never been so good. Fucking care less.
Cool. That
Does
matter
it
out
count
of
as
the way.
roofing work if the entire house is destroyed?
The roof gets fixed in the end.
Yeah, then we have to go back. We have to requote. It appears the damage is much more extensive than you originally stated.
It appears one of us summoned the devil and, well, went up in flames. Cool. So, with that matter put to rest, what are you doing with the rest of your day? What's the plan? I leave it now down to you guys. So you're going after Baldwin, is it?
Yes.
If that's the thing to do first.
What's the other mission?
What's the what?
What was the other mission?
The other mission is I guess the things on the sort of agenda at the minute are obviously Barzanov. Also, you need to find where Yggdrasil connects to this plane to grab a piece of it, so that you can use it as a plane shifting rod to go there to get around the lock placed on Tiamat's prison.
Right.
Because that's the only way you're going to be able to go there and defeat her.
Glendon is currently looking for that route, so it might be worth giving him some time to try and do that.
Yeah. Well,
because we do have a bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, we have as much time as you guys want. If you remember, Tiamat sort of said in 6 months something will happen. In 6 months, she's going to try and essentially devour Bahamut to gain his power and possibly break herself out. Otherwise, a demon army is coming for you. Though Borisov did warn you that, if you didn't do what she asked and if you didn't follow their wishes, that might come sooner. So you do have that to. I believe you did discuss that at the end of the last session, was the potential that could be coming a bit sooner. So you've got that to think about as well. So, yeah.
I'm just saying that this would be a demolition job for me. It's 3v3.
You would not survive.
I don't know. I think a 3v3 would have so many possibilities.
It would be pretty intense. Unless, of course, my ships and my crew get involved. Fuck you.
They're pretty shit, aren't they?
I don't know if I shoot a cannon at you.
That's fair.
The 3v3 would be that you've got Nevado who can shape change into anything, and you've got Oramus who can blast you at range. Whereas on the other side, you've got, Griffin can throw a firebolt, but otherwise, he's a melee boy. He can do some spells, but he's very focused on sort of melee. You've got obviously Giri, very focused on melee. So your main ranged person is Glendon, which is obviously a very, very good ranged person because spells, but does it match up to a druid and a warlock rogue?
Yeah.
Mate.
But then as soon as they close in on you, Luke, that's it, you're done.
Oramus has got a little secret weapon in his back pocket, though, hasn't he? So,
what a deal with the devil.
Well, yes, a deal with the devil, but also he can cast darkness that he can see in, and just fuck you up, basically.
I wonder who he was inspired by for that.
I wonder.
It's pretty cool, to be fair.
Kind of a sneak attack.
You would never admit it. Never in life is Oramus admitting that's.
He came up with that all on his own.
So, it was like most of Oramus's ideas, didn't it? Completely original.
Just like
Giri's got 2 action surges now, so she can do 12 attacks in 2 turns.
Is it from a fighter class?
Yeah. Which is quite cool.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty nuts.
Attacks at 17th level. Is that not when you get 4 attacks?
No, four
attacks is 20, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 20.
No, I thought it was like cantrip, so I thought it was 17th.
No, because it's to stop people getting like a 3 dip in something else to potentially.
Can you imagine a 3 dip in something else having 4 fucking attacks?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay, so
massively sidetracked there. That's the next price. 3v3. Get it, Ben. Get a map up.
In terms of what the other characters are doing, Oramis, I can't remember. I think we spoke about it before. I want to kind of buff the crew, but we spoke about training up Frank and Mason a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess you'd be doing
training
that.
them. I can't remember if you said so. Are you training them up to be more warlocky and teaching them a little bit about your sort of, strange mystical powers and how to sort of access them? Or are you training them up to be a bit more roguey and basically being better pirates, better naval officers?
I was going with Warlocky, sorry.
Warlocky, right? Then that is a whole other kettle of fish. So we'll deal with that very, very quickly now. So Oramis, you would sort of head out to your ship, which I'm assuming your main ship is here in the
the Vengeance.
By now,
it's with Oramis all the time.
Yeah, from the previous arc with the Vengeance, definitely would have had time to go around and make it here. So with the Vengeance here, you're able to go to Frank and Mason, and it's essentially sort of like you're just like essentially opening their minds to magic, but not in a bit of a stranger sense, because whilst on the ship and you're trying to teach them this stuff, it's almost like there's an otherworldly presence just watching over you, almost as if the spirits of the other captains are just watching over you whilst you're imparting this wisdom and teaching this knowledge. And it is almost like you're offering them to, after certain discussions and things like that, I would say that. So you're sat there in your, in your sort of captain's quarters, like quote unquote, like magic room with the teleportation circle in the middle and sort of books and things to one side, and you're speaking to them, and all of a sudden, a figure appears from the darkness of one of the corners, and another one, and another. And from the darkness in many of the corners, just several of the captains begin to walk towards Frank and Mason. Frank and Mason don't recognize them at first, but they do once they essentially grab them, take them by the shoulder, and they're offered a choice. They can be granted a portion of these powers, of your powers, of sort of extra powers. Their souls will become part of the ship, just like yours. They will become undead. And they will be granted access to warlock power.
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
Exactly. Part of the ship, part of the crew. And as this is all happening, the room begins to fade out around you, and you find yourself once again on this sort of like if you remember, like when you've spoken to captains before, you're on this like island in the middle of a raging ocean. There's rain, wind, and thunder all around. And you're on top of this rock, and Frank and Mason are sort of just like stood, and they are in this very sudden second just completely out of their depth. Like they are like they didn't quite realize what the fuck they were doing. What would you like? So they are freaking the fuck out right now in front of you, like, Captain, what the fuck is going on? What would you say to them in this moment to offer them this chance, or I guess try and persuade them of this?
This is not a pathway for the faint-hearted, and once you make your choice, you can't go back, but it could lead you to many great things. And then I think I'd just roll, like, if you'll allow it, just roll a d20, and if it's an even number, they take the deal. If it's an odd number, they back out.
I like that. Okay. Do you want to roll? Tell what, roll one for each of them.
Okay.
They are individuals, after all.
Yeah.
So even they take it, odd they don't.
Yeah.
Who's that for? Or is this for both of them?
That's for both.
That's for both. So I'm going to say Frank's the first one, Mason was the second.
Yeah.
So Frank sort of, he shies away a little bit. He recognizes, like, you've opened up to them about your Well, at the very least, rumor has spread because you spoke about it, and people guess what you are now. Now that you've taken this pact, and people guess what's happened to you and the things with your soul and selling your soul to this ship. Obviously, rumors have spread from previous rumors of the curse of this ship, and Frank unfortunately does back away. He says, "Look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Captain. I'm sorry." He doesn't even give an explanation, and he just sort of backs out. And suddenly, he disappears from this visage, from this island. And it's not just him disappearing; he's suddenly just thrust into it, just pulled from a vortex straight into it. Frank stands there and he's deliberating for a very, very long time until eventually he sort of stands and takes a step closer to you and says, "Well, seems to be working okay for you. What have I got to lose?" At which point, the captains of the ship, who are now sort of like in the water, like waist deep in the water, you can see all the marks and many things that killed many of these captains, most of which swords or knives in the back. And they sort of look up to him, and they all sort of like raise their arms. Sigurd, the first captain, the one upon whom this curse originated, sort of steps to Mason, puts a hand on his chest, and there is just glow. This faint glow that just begins to build. He closes his hand around this glow and then just opens his hand and there's nothing. You see Mason's skin grow a little bit paler. You see his eyes almost just look that slight little bit more tired. But at the same time, his muscles ever so slightly, there is a noticeable difference. There's a noticeable toning there. And as he raises his hand and just looks up, there's just this faint flicker, this almost faint flash of eldritch energy within his hand. This vision fades, and suddenly it's you and Mason left in the room. You don't know what happened to Frank. Though later on you realize that he's okay. He was chucked in the sea outside the ship. You don't know how, but he was. Yeah, Mason is now, I would say, part warlock. I'm going to say he's technically now like a level 1, original sort of, rogue stuff, but also now a level 1 warlock. And we'll say that he is, I'll try and get a stat block sort of set up for him. Yeah, Oramus can then start imparting this knowledge upon him. So I guess Oramus is sort of his patron in a way, and then Oramus has a patron. So it's up to you to teach him these powers and this ability. You've just been given access to it. Whereas with you, it's not you learning stuff, it's you just being gifted power. If you sort of get what I mean.
Yeah.
But there we are. You now have Mason as a warlock of this ship, and who is now also undead, just like you, has resistance to necrotic damage. If he dies, his soul is kept on the ship for eternity. If he dies before a suitable replacement is made, he will wake up after several hundred years, much like you. If the ship sinks, that's it. He sinks with it, and his soul goes with it. No heaven, no hell, only the ship.
Nice.
But there we go. I'd say that that'll probably take up most of your day, and teaching him sort of about that stuff. And whilst you're teaching him Frank, make sure to get the rest of the kit in order, things like that. Cool. So that is Armis. Anyone else have anything they would like to do with any of their characters at the present minute before we jump into this Balsmore thing? Did you have any ideas of how you'd be looking for Yggdrasil? Did you have any ideas of any magic items, anything like that you wanted to go after, any preparations for anything, side stuff.
I think Glendon would just be doing what we discussed already then.
That is fair. Glendon
And then
does the first part of that. Somewhere.
are there any
Off
spells
the
that
room.
can locate items?
There is locate object. There is. Well, you have your divination that you can do as Glendon, where you can ask a question and get an answer. There is.
I think you probably
legend
just
lore.
pop in that as well, I think.
Okay. Okay. So if we want to say that Glendon, I will tell you this. Glendon, because obviously that is a fairly basic thing you can do. You just get a free divination every day. And obviously it works like divination. So if it works, you can't do it again for another 7 days. But I would say Glendon has tried it, and he's always felt like something pushing back against him. Like when you're trying to reach out your mind for this information, something is pushing back against you, as if something is not allowing you this information. You can push further. You can try and push back. You can try and, push through this barrier. But you don't know what that might entail, and you don't know what that might hold. This barrier is quite strong. That's pushing against you. You've never had anything like this happen before. You've never heard of anything that, constrains your divination powers. Like this.
I'll try and push past it if I feel or not.
Okay. Roll me a. This would be an Arcana check. The DC for this is 25.
25, fuck.
This is a.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Glendon would have some divination rolls today, wouldn't he?
He would have some divination rolls today, so why don't we try and roll those?
Oh, holy shit.
Oh boy.
What did you say the DC was?
25.
Oh, I think you just rolled a 29.
That's bloody convenient, mate.
That's called a divination wizard.
So, Lyndon sets down, begins this process with the incense and everything. And what is the question you ask?
Where is the root in our realm? For our plane, rather.
Okay. Your mind pushes into this barrier and you feel that resistance. Are you sure you want to push past it?
Is this Ben warning me of bad things? And do I care?
Yeah.
Am I getting a malice? Is it like a malice resistance?
It is like as you're pushing against it, it's almost like a headache that you're having to push through. It is painful. There is a block. You definitely get the sense that this is information that someone doesn't want anyone to find out about.
Yeah.
So there are constraints on it. Whether that's some god doing this or Yggdrasil itself, you can only speculate. There is some kind of constraint on just this information, this question.
I'll still push. Yeah.
Okay. Can you roll me an intelligence saving throw?
Oh, I'm good at this.
Hey.
21 would be enough because it's a god.
Congratulations, you didn't get feeble-minded.
Oh. It's okay. It's okay. Jesus.
Lyndon, you push through and you can feel this intense migraine. And as you do, you can feel blood dripping down your nose. And what you think are tears, but later you'll realize it's blood dripping down your eyes, your ears, everything. This pressure is just building in your head. Eventually, as I say, you push through and you find yourself once again sort of in this almost like owl-like form that you've taken when you've previously done this, and you begin flying up and over the cavern. And then you travel east, over the plains, over the Great Plains, over the Dwarven Mountains, over even Dawnport, across the sea, far across the sea. You find yourself coming upon another land. In this other land, you begin following a road, a great road. A road that you would know, because it's pretty much known worldwide as the Celestial Road of Titan. You wouldn't know this because you weren't part of that mini campaign, but in Titan there is something called the Celestial Road. It's sort of thing like the silk in they used to be sort of like run across China and stuff like that. It is the road that connects all of Titan. It starts at one end, it goes all the way up and around Titan to the other, connects it all up. It's like, you know, the main highway. All trade and all everything will go through. And you begin flying across this road as this great sort of owl-like being. You see this just blur of people coming and going, and night and day begin passing overhead. And eventually you turn off as you reach a slightly warmer climate. And there is this land which is not quite desert, but not, you know, verdant trees and things like that. There's sort of like the plateaus of sort of America, and there are many plateaus. This space is uneven. There are, you know, tall, almost like clumps of plateaus, and then just completely flat, and then more tall sort of clumps of great plateaus in this like dry, arid space. And you feel it getting warmer and warmer as you're traveling here. You begin, as you get closer to this place, you begin to feel a numbness now. Almost like pins and needles, and then numbness as you get closer. You begin flying over this space. In this space, there is a city. Quite a large city. In the center, there is a very, very large sort of domed, think like sort of Arab-esque, like one of the big domed buildings, like big red dome.
No.
That is set atop one of these plateaus. So it's like separated from the ground. You can see there's like grand steps and like pulley elevator systems that will allow people to get up to the city. You're flying sort of around this area, not necessarily around the city, but around this area. And you descend and descend. You sort of go through the floor. You don't go through any specific place. You sort of disappear through the ground, and your vision goes dark as you tunnel through earth and stone. Until eventually there is a cave. The sound of dripping water. Near the howls of wind. You hear the trill of something large, like this thrum, this sound that echoes through the hall. But in the center of this hall, there is a light. As you get closer and closer, see that this light is a tree made from pure light. As it grows and its branches reach out, they fade away. There are no leaves on this tree. Almost like imagine this dead tree made of pure light. You can actually like partly see through it. And as its branches sort of expand out, they just fade to invisibility. As if this tree is literally like its branches are the world, reaching up upon the world. Your vision fades, and when you come back, you pass out. You drop to 0 hit points, Lyndon's out. Unconscious, not making death saves. Unconscious. Several hours later, you're found in your study by Moraine. When you come to, you realize you are covered in blood. Strength drained from your body. You gain several points of exhaustion, like I'd say at least 3 points of exhaustion. Pushing through this was an ordeal. Very, very big ordeal. But you have this information. It's a very good roll.
I think technically I can teleport there, but I have a good chance of not actually going there.
Yeah, because you don't exactly know where it is or what the place is. You've just seen it in a vision while you were having all sorts of mind craziness. But certainly you can try and teleport.
Okay, well, it's actually worth it. Isn't it? Nice.
Cool. You now have a somewhat encouragement with yourself.
I would probably liaise with Felix, as he's from Titan, and ask him if he knows of. Describe the place to him and ask him if he knows it.
Yeah, Felix isn't from Titan, but he has visited some places there.
I won't talk to him then. Yeah, no. Well, if I describe it to you, is it somewhere you've been?
Good question.
Roll a nature check.
Nick, I actually forget the minute it's from time. Isn't he just from the woods?
Yes. So
Gary's
he's actually from the mountains.
No, it's Balzanor.
So I've bypassed two people that have actually lived there in their lives, and I've gone straight to a tourist.
You've heard of, in Titan there are dry, arid places. There's like this very, very big desert, but there's like two main deserts. There's one really big one covered in sand and all sorts. The very, very end of the Celestial Road, and there's another that's slightly more to the sort of connects to this one, but it's less of like sandy desert, more dry, arid, like stone and nothingness. Think like very much like the sort of like Grand Canyon-esque area of America, like huge canyons, lots of plateaus, nothing on the ground. Outbacks of Australia, similar to that, but at all sorts. But you don't know of any city there. No. You know that place is certainly a place. You've maybe passed through there, passed by, but no, the person you wouldn't exactly know the exact.
All right, I'll ask them
Shall I make a nature check?
Yeah, sure. Maybe an nature check.
Just briefly, well, brother. I'd ask Gary as well.
Okay. Yeah, they can roll.
Oh. Only one there. Right, I'm just gonna put it out there. Gary's nature is 0. So if she beats both of me,
Come on, Gary.
it's not gonna happen though.
Oh,
And lo, he gets the DC finally. So you've heard of, yes, there are millions of desert towns and desert cities, but the main sort of striking point here is it is a desert city on top of a plateau, several hundred feet above the ground around it. And that is the city of Abakapcha. Abakatsha.
I really zoned out for the last bit of that spelling. ABA.
ABA
Yeah.
KATSHA.
Abakapcha.
Abakapcha, the city of Abakapcha. I would say with a 15, Gary doesn't know much more other than possibly the fact that they do. I was about to say breed very good warriors. They train very, very good warriors there. I'd say that's something that Gary would probably know about that place.
That's probably why Gary knows about it.
Exactly. Yeah, they have a specific sort of like blade their sort of smiths make there. That is said to be, like Titan renowned, famous. sort of like a kopesh sort of blade, the sort of one that curves away from you rather than towards you. That the warriors are very famed for using, and yeah, they're said to be like a very, very good fighting force. Yeah, city of Ambyr, that's where it is. Yeah.
It's nice.
Nice. Any more, or are we going to go after the old Balsanor?
It's not a good time for a break. Because I
Yep.
need a wee.
Yeah,
Have a
sounds good.
break and then
Let's not run out of way.
go after Balzanor, or like start planning.
Yeah.
combat.
Let's go
Yep.
after Balsam. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go get the boy.
So, while Glendon and the Guardians have been off doing all of that, we are left with, Griffin, Galahad, stuff like that. Obviously, Galahad, we said, was going to promote. Damien, so that's probably what he's sort of in the process of doing, gathering up some creeks, stuff like that. Griffin is, I imagine, being Griffin. We can figure out what he's doing later. Felix, again, figure out what he's doing later, but whether he's going home or not, we can speak about it after the session. But as they all filter out, eventually the room is left with those whom it has been agreed will go after Balzamor. Doc sticks around. Giri is sat broodily in the corner with a sword. Nevado is being Nevado. And Kaiman is still there, I imagine. Finally having his food, but he's realised, oh wait, no, this wasn't a menu. The food's been out here this whole time. Yum 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 yum. What's the plan, gents? I will
Need to get to Balzamor, don't we? Or bring him to us.
You do. I will very briefly remind you of your encounters with Borisov thus far. So, and what you know about him. What especially Doc would know about him as Doc saw him transform, and what you guys have figured out thus far about Borisov. So, when Tia was sent to hell, but not quite her own layer of hell, she was just sent there because she'd been naughty. She teamed up with a creature, a demon lord of Minotaurs, called Torosov. Now, Torosov was a very, very powerful archdevil at the time. And Tiamat and Torosov had a little baby, which they named Torosov. However, when the gods found out that Tiamat was actually planning on trying to get out of hell and she was raising an army, the gods went down, slew Torosov, and put Tiamat in her own part of hell. She couldn't be trusted to be around other kids. And Borisov was sent to the world to live normally as a Minotaur. Borisov being a very powerful Minotaur, but you don't exactly know about his life. When the transformation happened, Tiamat essentially brought the very, very latent parts of Borisov, that blood, that lineage, to the forefront, essentially, expanding on it, giving it power, and creating Borisov from Balzamor. Essentially, the demon blood, the demonic essence within Balzamor, and the, I guess, also draconic essence within Balzamor, enveloping him, taking him over, and making him into what he is now. You briefly saw him throw a fireball at you all, which hurt, because I think all of you failed your save. And then he used some kind of teleportation to leave. So far, you've seen him in the Feywild. He showed up invisibly. You'd have learned that much to attack you. So that's about what you got so far. There were ideas being thrown around of a gate spell being used that I believe now Doc has access to, and Kaiman. But it's entirely up to you. What would you like to do?
We probably need to get him somewhere because he's very mobile. So we probably need to get him somewhere where we can like keep him contained, and also like get in his face and mess him up.
Daviak also sort of says, can we also get him away from the city? Because if he's flinging fireballs around, I really don't want any more damage to what is already a wreck piece of shit. Don't tell the other council members I said that, but I want the city to see better days. Still, really don't want any civilians being hurt if we're summoning him here. If we're going to him, that's a whole other kettle of fish, but I think I know where we need to go. Ever since that happened, I've been doing a little bit of research. I think between me and Mazzy, we kind of figured out if we were to try and go to him, where we'd need to go. don't think you're gonna like my answer though.
Where is it?
So on the 4th layer of hell, Phlegethos. Think very standard depictions of hell: rivers of lava, fire burning in the sky, smoke choking out everywhere. There is a large iron citadel called the Furnace.
Sounds lovely.
That is where Torosov once lived, and rumor amongst the hells has it he knew he was going to die, so he sent all of his forces within the iron furnace to await his son's return. His son's now returned, so I imagine Balzamon has some backup there. For what they're doing at the present moment, we have no idea. But I think I could get us there if we ended up in Phlegethos. Not exactly an expert, but I have a very seedy friend who's a bit of a weird man.
So that was the 4th layer of hell. Is that what you said?
4th layer of hell, Phlegethos.
Phlegethos.
Yes.
Okay.
Spelled with a PH, not an F. Yeah, that's one option. Because obviously, even if we
We're
manage
attacking him on his home ground there.
we would be, but it depends, because even if we get this thing out of Balzanor and defeat it, it's only going to go back to its home plane. Very powerful demon. It's going to be weakened, sure, but powerful demons that are killed outside of their home layer of hell aren't outright killed. They just go back home and they're weaker. They're weakened for quite a while. It will take a little bit for him to get his strength back, but he won't be dead.
Oh, what we need to decide what our objective is. Is our objective to free Balzanor, or is our objective to kill the demon general? Because it seems like those are two different things. If our objective is to free Balzanor, then bringing him out is probably the easiest way to do that.
It would also mean that we've freed him and we can get rid of the thing and sort of, keep Balzanor safe for a while. So once we free him, once we separate the two, Balzanor is not exactly going to be up for a trip back through hell to get home. Nor I imagine is he going to be up for a fight. I mean, is he even going to have his power to do this?
But that's what we've got to decide, really. Are we killing the general, or are we freeing Balzanor? Which one's happening first?
Right.
Or which one's happening? And then if it's one, are we then doing the other?
So free Balzanor and then send a different group to kill the demon.
Could be way around it. Back-to-back fights is probably going to be difficult.
Mm.
But then if we say we kill, or say we free it from Balzanor somehow, it's going to be really weakened if we're fighting it in the 4th layer of hell. Or is it going to be like a whole other full boss fight?
Well, there's a spell we can use called Gate, which
Bring him here.
Yes, which opens a portal between him and here and pulls him through. What we could do would be, if we had the resources, and it is expensive to do, but if we had the resources, we could do it twice. We could do it once to bring him here, to free Balzanor, and then we make a decision after that if we are in a position to go there and then finish the job. Because once the demon spirit is sent back, we could open another door, and it's a door, it goes both ways.
So you're saying if we summon him,
So I'm thinking
Or-
summon him,
are we able? Yeah, here.
summon him, depossess him,
Yeah.
and then, depending on how we're looking and how we're feeling, we can open the gate again to go and get the demon spirit in hell and finish it for good.
Hmm. And you're able to do that because you know the creature.
Yes, you have to speak the name.
Hmm.
So, I mean,
Well, what's the idea? To chase him back while he's because what level spells gate?
9.
9.
So we wouldn't be able to chase him the same day.
Yeah, because it's a clerical spell. So Kaiman and I can both do it.
You forget Carmen's cleric.
So there is a potential, but it is obviously dependent on how we're feeling after the time, whether and how much it takes out of us, whether or not an instant trip to hell to finish the job is on the cards or not. As I say, it's expensive, and
I'll also say that spell gate specifically says it draws the creature through.
it does. But it is
It
a
would
concentration.
the gate. I mean, the portal is still open,
Yeah, the
so
portal
you
is
could
open.
draw him through, and then you could just run him back.
Yeah.
Definitely, genuinely could do that, but yeah, just so that you're aware.
Why? Ben, you used to go back through the same portal.
It's a concentration
yeah.
spell. It
Good.
opens a portal for 1 minute. When you
Mhm.
cast it, it pulls the target to you, but it leaves the door open for 1 minute while you're concentrating on it. So you could go the other way.
Maybe we do this then. We go out into try and find some like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a venue to fight him at.
And we need a cave, I think. Somewhere
Crazy
enclosed
for Bash out.
to stop him getting too high. Because
Have they excavated Galahad's tomb yet?
Technically not, but that is your tomb was just like a 15 foot.
He wouldn't be able to fly in there, would he?
He wouldn't. He'd all be in fireball range all the time. Yeah, this is my turn. He's fireball, bitch.
There is like a library under the city, like remember that restricted bit that Oramus and I went to.
Yeah.
I mean, none of us know about that, but
I'm trying to remember who did what.
So
What
Glyndon
about
went underneath that.
what about the Talon tunnels?
I mean, where we fought Great Talon, whatever it's called,
Yeah.
that wasn't too bad. But if Balsanor flees, it's a bit of a maze.
Yeah. Deviak says, yeah, wasn't that place a maze? And also, we got to think, Balzanor's still in there. We don't know if he has his memories. I mean, maybe he'll know how to get out, you know?
Yark has a map of the Talon maze in his inventory. I can't remember who was on that arc, so I can't remember exactly who fought the Great
That
Talon.
arc was Griffin, Galahad, Doc, and Balsanor.
Oh, right, okay.
Ryan didn't exist.
Yeah, I couldn't remember who Matt was playing at that time. So
Daviak does like open up and say like, if we need a cave, like I know of several around the city. Like different regular caves. Sure,
You need a nice flat cave so that
you need
you can't
something
like fly up.
with a low ceiling.
Oh,
Would, and I mean, this is a little bit off the cuff, but would Oramis know of any perhaps smugglers' coves near the city?
Smugglers' Coves near the city.
Well,
That'd
yeah.
be an interesting one. I mean, yeah, Oramis can make a. Oh, what can I check would that be? Let me have a look at types of checks you can make. I would probably
History?
say that. Yeah, either history. Yeah, probably history. Yeah,
Like
Okay.
Aramis's past, remembering things.
yeah.
Aramis is quite intelligent, isn't he?
He's wise.
He's more wise than intelligent.
He's very unintelligent.
I thought Aramis was a
History.
You don't automatically know of the perfect one; you just know of ones. But certainly an interesting idea.
Nothing.
No, not near the capital. Not anywhere near here. You obviously know of ones like in and around way up by Shipley Coast. You've got underneath Oramis's pub. But I like to imagine that Oramis immediately thinks of that and then immediately just picks that up as mind. No, that's not happening. Daviak does briefly say, Invader, didn't you help literally build like a massive cave? Do you have the ability to, I don't know, move some stone, make a cave?
On paper.
I don't know how long that would take you, and obviously that might take some magical ability out of, what you might be able to do, but I thought, perhaps. I mean, I know some mines nearby that were abandoned a long time ago.
I mean, we've got time. If this is going to take a bit of time, I don't think we're not under time pressure to get this done tomorrow. We can take some
Yeah, I
time.
mean that's true.
We can set something up. We can find something, and we can adapt it. I think whatever we do find, we need to make it tricky to get out. Like a cove is a good suggestion, but also a cove might be very open, and you could just go straight out. So,
I mean, like Nevado, if we're planning a couple of days ahead, he could literally just do. Is it? He could. I mean, he can do earthquake, which is massive, and just fuck some shit up, and then do melt stone.
yeah, Doc can also do earthquake to
Like make a massive hole in the ground, essentially, and then you could kind of
or once you've used. I would probably say it's more once you've used meld stone to create like a chasm. Earthquake would make it bigger, probably by a fair significant margin. With jet down from all around, and then you clear that out. Certainly an interesting idea. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
You're gonna like create a small cabin.
Cool. So you're going to create a small cabin. If I take you onto the, I take you back onto the, bodies onto the Ember map. Whereabouts are you making it? So if obviously you're over here by the to your right, you've got lots of plains. To your left, you've got a really big forest. Around forest, you've got all sorts of stuff. Whereabouts are you going to? Are you doing it near the city? Are you doing it under the city? Are you doing whereabouts would this cove or cave be?
I mean, I think
under a mountain, somewhere on the edge of the north, probably as far away from civilization as possible. to stop anything getting out. Any collateral damage. If we're going to be potentially like earthquaking to like soften up the earth.
Pretty cool idea. Let's not set on prepared for this fight this game. But I love it. Really, I didn't think cave. I thought like forest or open plains. I didn't think, yes, we'll make a cave.
So, I'll just let him fly in through eyeballs at them. No. We get someone to teleport us up there, and then find a good spot up north.
Yeah.
Go there.
I mean,
Cool.
not that Doc would know, but everyone else would remember like Ciro's place.
It's quite big, wasn't it? Okay.
Was very big. It was a cloud
It's a giant meat, yeah.
with a cloud home on top of the mountain.
Mm.
So just to make my understanding, are we? Because I'm thinking that we're going to create like a cavern within something, and then like seal it off, and then bring him in,
Yeah.
so that he actually can't get out.
Well, it's my understanding as well is create an
Mm.
enclosed environment.
Yeah,
Basically, make like a cage and be like, "Come get us."
yeah. Or just suck him in and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a good idea. Gives you guys a bit of an edge.
Okay.
Awesome. Should we get
Right.
Lyndon to give us a ride once he's mopped off all his blood?
Top.
Well, before
Guys were
one of the things we need to find is the component for gate.
Which is
A diamond worth 5,000 gold. Which I can't imagine is going to be too trivial.
no.
probably not too trivial.
Go to the diamond shop.
I would definitely say that. Okay. So is that what you're doing first? Going to find a diamond weapon?
I mean, over the course of however many, days, maybe some people go north earlier, figure out where they're going to do it. Nevada's going to need some time to set up, while maybe like Doc and someone else like stays here to try and search what they need, scrounge up a few like extra resources. I'm thinking some potions and stuff like that as well, of like fire resistance and stuff for people. That sort of thing.
Javier could probably say, okay, so we need someone with mold earth and like earthquake to go north to break them sneaking out. Hyman, do you know earthquake?
You do now.
Did Hyman pick earthquake today? Otherwise, he'd be a bit more. It's I believe it's an 8th level spell.
It is an 8th level spell.
I don't believe so.
No? Then need to wait a day anyway for people to change and pick spells. Because Kaiman, I believe, also would need to pick the gate, because so far you haven't picked any 9th level spell.
8th level, what sunburst?
You do have Sunburst. But as a cleric, you can change your spells every day. So what the guys are suggesting is you pick Earthquake the next time to help build a cavern. So I would say this. So you have a day in the capital to all of you get any supplies or anything you might need. Then the next day, you're gonna head up north, and with people changing their spells and everything, can do that. So we'll start with your day in the capital. So you've realized Hyman doesn't have Earthquake. Doc, I don't know if you have Earthquake today.
I don't, but I was planning on staying here and picking up resources.
Yeah. So we'll say also that when you go ask Lyndon if you can if he can teleport you up there. You open the door and he's like got his robe for the couple in blood, and he's not looking too good. Some Moraine maybe says, maybe there's another conjuration wizard who can help you with this. Otherwise, you'll probably be all right tomorrow. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's been a whole thing, but we've learned stuff. So what is it you guys would like to do then in the capital now?
Well, one, we need to source to see if we can. This whole thing is predicated on whether or not we can source that diamond for Gate. So probably go and speak to council members, see if there's any, because I'm not able to find this in a shop. See if there's anything that we can borrow, because it doesn't consume it. It is just a resource. It doesn't say it consumes it. So
I think we should go hit up Garrick, Iron Soul, like Luke just said. But, oh, mate, we put you in power. Get us up with your most spenny diamond.
Yeah, and just because I know, we also know most of the treasury was gone. But it might be that there are some royal jewels or something, or some lords might have some jewels that the council know of that we can.
Yeah,
the crown jewels or some shit.
The crown jewels have gone wherever the king has gone, and the king ain't currently here because
we are going to meet this king actually as members of the council.
I would say that information has been kept very, very hush. And whenever you've asked Dave, the question has been immediately diverted.
That's a little bit suspicious.
That confirmed.
Because if you remember, where in the Yara arc, you were told that basically the king, when he came into power, obviously he came into power at the age of like 16. There was, within weeks of him coming to power, there was a war with orcs. And then in the next couple of months, demons were flying around everywhere. So he decided, fuck this shit, I'm out. And he's now in hiding. The whole country has been run by the council ever since. You don't know where he's gone. Several members of the council know where he is. But that's
a problem for another day. Where's the king? But yeah, ask about, are there any jewels left? Any sort of relics left?
Yes.
So are there any items, magical items left that might be of aid to Doc, like as the councilman of religion and stuff like that? Are there any lords that have vast wealth we could speak to?
Yes, I will say so.
Liquid assets, maybe.
You go and speak to the council. You go and speak to, you would go and speak to whoever you would go and speak to. You are directed towards Rita Duforge, who has taken up a lot of the sort of, a lot of responsibilities. It's probably way too many responsibilities for one person to take up. And she basically says, well, you can either have a look at the treasury, because she gets very nervous, but then once you tell her that it won't be consumed and you'll still have it, you're like, oh, okay, that should be fine, as long as you obviously bring it back. Maybe go take a look around in the treasury, you might be able to find one there. Otherwise, I believe, isn't there the Temple of Freya is famous for having some kind of moon diamond. That's meant to be very, very famous for something. I don't know how expensive it is. Probably quite expensive. Might be worth taking a look at. Those would be the only two around 5,000 that I can think of. I have an emerald worth 3 if you'd like that.
We have to go back.
Sadly, yes.
Sorry. I'm not playing an asshole anymore. So.
So yes, either in the treasury, might find like those. Obviously, a lot of it was stolen. Now mostly gold and silver coins we're dealing with, or you could go to Temple of Freya. One of the two.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll start with the treasury. As it seems like the best place to look.
Yep. You go to the treasury to what it was. It's like this like massive bank building essentially that's sort of in and around the capital. In and around capital, of course it is. In and around where the castle used to be and is now being built. You head inside. Obviously, they recognize who you are. They've been informed who you are. A very pompous man sort of steps up and goes, "Can I help you with, sir?"
Well, we need to examine what is in the treasury. We are looking for, well, any sort of relics that are left over or any diamonds of a specific value for a spell component.
And what would be the approximate value? We have several diamonds in the collection. Unfortunately, most of them are stolen. But we do have
Yes, the value required is 5,000.
Come with me, good sir. And he takes you down into this like sort of elevator. He has to he has this like strange key that sort of, goes up and down and left and right, places it into this thing, twists it, and then there's another one, places it into the other side of the elevator, twists it. Finally, a lever sort of pulls back and forth, and he's able to pull the lever. And you go down in this elevator, down, 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 for about sort of maybe 5 minutes, where he makes very, very awkward small talk. Eventually, there's a and as the elevator stops, he pulls the lever crank to the right, and you can hear like 2 clicks as he pulls it to the right, and then he pushes it back up to the top again. And you feel yourself now going forward, as if you're going along some kind of track. And you sort of travel along this track. You can't see outside the elevator. You can feel something going on outside the elevator. You feel yourself being moved. And after another couple of minutes, eventually the doors open, a small bell chimes as they open with a beep. And you open up into this very, very barren, empty room with lots of pedestals where you imagine jewels would have been kept. There's like little stands, little like tripods, like jewels would have been kept. But we did have most of our jewels stolen, but eventually we've had several very gracious benevolents. And, well, we used to keep several of these jewels in other places throughout the treasury. You said 5,000. Does it need to be 1 diamond or?
Yes, unfortunately, it needs to be a singular.
Then you're looking for. And he sort of steps to the back of the room and sort of pull the cloth off of this very, very beautiful stone. It is a big diamond, like big as someone's head kind of diamond. Beautifully carved in that sort of like perfect diamond shape, but sort of the bottom is a little more like much more sort of pointed, quite tall. You are looking for this specimen. This diamond was donated to us several hundred years ago by people from way over in the fracture of all places, mined in their minds over there. This is said to belong to the emperor of the Imperium many, many thousands of years ago. They were kind enough to gift it to us after if I'm honest, I don't quite know. Just generally give rich people things. I believe it might have been for winning the Dragon Wing. Now I think about it, might have been a question. Anyway, there is this diamond. I understand, Master Doctor, you are asking for this diamond, but I have not met these others. You are sure this diamond was you've been clear to take this? Yes?
Pardon?
He sort of leans into you and goes, Link, twice, if you held under your will, the strange warrior, the lizard man, and the one who smells a little funny, who tugs in his head.
No, I just genuinely didn't hear what you said, Ben.
Ah, right.
Lovely roleplay there.
Everything is good. We are attempting to weaken our enemy by removing one of their generals.
Great. Are you planning on plunging this diamond through their chest or something? You know what? I don't. Best I don't know the details. Sure. Well, say, remember, I just need to do a very, very brief check, and he pulls out this sort of small device. It almost looks like a sort of small mirror, but there's no mirrored side. Instead, it's just like a sort of blank slate with, not blank, it's like a slate of metal with all these inscriptions and runes. And you get the suspicion it's sort of like a magic detector. So he's kind of detecting that you guys are who you say you are, as he sort of, goes around and makes sure, yeah, there's no illusion magic here. You guys are good. One final check. He goes, and if you could just place your hand here to confirm that you are getting this piece out and do plan on bringing it back. It's just a small deal that we need to make with the Treasury here. We've had several unruly things in the past. Lords and nobles take things out without returning them. We'll need one of your handprints.
Understand? Yes.
Fantastic. Place your hand on as you do your sort of fingerprints and handprints and things like that are sort of embedded within this. Right. The Treasury retains the right to teleport you here should you not bring this piece back within a week. You will be teleported against your will. I'm afraid there's nothing you can quite do about that. And held in incarceration until the item is returned. There's a lot of other stuff I need to go through, but you say the city, so I think I'm going to bypass a lot of that. Here you go. You're free to take.
Thank you.
And,
yes. I will put it in the bag of holding.
Yeah, and you now have a diamond, which as you pick it up, I can imagine Tolkien's picking this 5,000 gold diamond up. Quite a heavy thing, diamond big as your head. Thinking, don't drop it, don't drop it, don't drop it. As you, very, very carefully put it in the bag of holding. And there you are.
Mental note to never tell Aramis.
He leads you back up into the elevator, back out the way you came. You emerge into the day, which is turned into a little bit of a sour day. Clouds are now starting to form a little bit more over, but you have 5,000 gold diamond.
All right, time to go shopping.
We'll keep this brief. What kind of stuff are you shopping?
I think potions of fire resistance seem like the most logical one.
Cool. Roll me an investigation check. You can all roll this to sort of go over the people.
It's not a very intelligent group of people.
Where is my investigation? A +1.
So.
Random, would you like to roll, or are you good? 14. Okay. I would say that with 14, you are able to sort of roll.
That's right.
The advantage roll was good.
So you spend a bit of time, maybe a couple of hours, sort of going from magic shop to magic shop. For the price of 500 gold, you can get 3 potions of fire resistance.
Okay.
That's enough, isn't it? It's Carmen is already fire resistant.
Price right.
Carmen doesn't need it. So
Hang on, correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear bells and all's fire
600
punch through.
200 gold each.
I swear Baldamon's fire punched through fire resistance. So what's the point in wasting money on fire resistance spells?
Looking at
Wasn't
Ben's
that a
smile,
magic
you may be
item?
correct.
And didn't all his like magic items melt off him when he transformed? Didn't like all his like stuff like burned up?
I can't remember if it was a magic item or something Ben gave him.
It was a magic item, but certainly the fact that when he transformed, a magic item that gives the wielder not only resistance to fire, but also, makes things burn through fire. The fact that it melted off of him,
Into him.
you
Well, I think if he can burn through a fucking magic item that is resistant to fire, he's probably got some.
Built-in defenses.
Yeah, he's got some good power.
I would say you also would find one potion of fire immunity.
Okay,
Thing
that's
that
different.
exists.
Well, it's a potion of invulnerability. It gives you invulnerability to one damage type, which I'm assuming you would pick fire.
Oh, right.
Whatever.
War.
Elemental damage type. So, your classic fire, cold, poison, lightning, and acid.
How much for that bad boy?
That bad boy cost you 1,500 gold pieces.
Yikes.
Strong, mate.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I don't really have that sort of expendable income at the moment.
More than Nevada.
Nevida's coins are made of wood, aren't they?
Acorns, it flicks around.
Acorns, hazelnuts.
How about you, Carmen? You got much dosh? 1,500 gold?
I do. I have such.
Or if you would like, you can pay for the potion of vulnerability, which costs 1,500 gold. Only if you'd like to, of course.
You meaning I can take more hits to the face?
Wouldn't necessarily be for you. It could be for someone else, considering your aura's head.
We know he's. It's just we know he's getting hit. Yeah, I'll do that. But then, what am I doing?
One of you has a potion of fire in you. Well, invulnerability.
Can I go see Ambyr and see how much it would cost to get my arm upgraded to add +1 to AC?
Yes. So you can go to Tama, and Tama would tell you that he doesn't. Well, actually, it's not right now. He's been looking into stuff. He's been inspired by the Guardians. He's been looking into Kothar, Eric of the Forge type stuff. And he would tell you that he could do it. He could give you a max +1. There was another guy getting potentially +2. +1 would cost you 1,000 gold. And you +1 to your armor. +2 would cost you 2,000 gold.
Yeah. Anyone fancy a little loner?
Is your armor already magical?
Yeah, I think so.
That is a problem. You cannot enchant already enchanted. Well, you can. It would take a little more time.
It's a vampiric armor that Doc decursed, I think. I can't remember exactly where he found it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
no, that's
Lazarus's thing.
Yeah, you decursed, so it is now just mithril armor. So you don't have disadvantage on stealth. And I think that's about it. Yeah.
It says creatures friendly to me within 30 feet have advantage against being frightened or charmed.
That was it as well. Yes, you had your previous armor. That's why you have no money. Was your previous armor you had?
Some money. Don't assume my poorness. So I've got enough to do the 1+1, but +2 would be a world of good. But it's only if anyone else has got 1,000 gold. Actually, Ben, where are my fucking wages? Been working, training up a militia band for the capital.
Okay, it's been about 3 weeks. 500 gold.
Okay, does anyone have another 500 gold to give me?
I would say this will
boy.
take some time. This will take at least a couple of days to enchant, and
Like JJ said, we can wait.
We've got
Cool.
we've got some time to set up. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Nevado is gonna, you know, needs to like find a space and like make it workable, and then we want to give Nevado time to recover whatever spells and abilities they've used to do that. You know,
cool.
I imagine that all this shopping stuff is going to take, you know, a day or two, sort of like talking to the council and getting permission and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Speaking
Yeah.
of, are there any, like, asking the council, like, any, like, does the council and the king own any, like, relicly type things that a cleric could attune to?
The council does not. Council generally, well, you're the councilman of religion, so any relic-y stuff that they would have had would have passed to you. And a lot of that stuff might have been in the
section
cathedral
that was nicked.
meteored, or the section that was nicked.
That makes sense.
However,
You never know.
I would say there are several things. So is there anything in particular that you're like looking for, like some holy relic armor, holy weapon, anything like that? I know we briefly spoke about something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like generally looking for just like I mean, to metagame, basically like a power boost, something to just like, you know, boost my like spells and stuff like that. Generally, if there is anything, if there's not anything, then that's understandable. It was either nicked or destroyed by a meteor. I mean, the only other thing is like a general magic item that would be something to boost my like dex save or something like that, because I know that Basil could potentially be flinging fireballs and stuff, and something to aid the clunky dwarf in dodging those might be useful.
Okay. So that's what Doc's looking for. So any fancy magical stuff or anything to boost his dex. Boosting a dex, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time to find in and around the capital. However, boosting sort of like power buffs.
Yeah, I don't know whether there's like a shield or something that I can find that might make me a bit more evasive or something.
But I would say that there is. Let me just look up the.
Yeah. We don't necessarily have to spend like a huge amount of time on it. It doesn't look like we, you know, with the time we've got left, that we're gonna like get to a fight today. So
yeah, I would say there is an animated shield in the Temple of Eberos, the god of death, that belonged to a cleric long ago, which is basically a shield where you don't have to use your. They also have an animated scythe, which works the exact same as an animated sword, but it's a scythe instead. There was also a. There is something, I can't remember the god's name. Generally, the god of. In one of the temples, you do speak to them, and they do have a talisman that basically has holy robes or holy armor within it. So you wear this like necklace, you have to attune to it, and as an action, you can either change to be wearing holy robes, like robes of the holy order, or it'll change to +2 magical plate armor.
I mean, that would be very useful.
I would say they are not very keen to part with this item. You would need to make some kind of persuasion check or something.
That's Doc's specialty, isn't it?
Yeah, Doc is so persuasive.
In order for them to let you have this item, I would say, again, it's on a loner. this is nice. I put the dock out permanently. This is definitely a loaner item.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can make persuasion check if you want. I'd say you're the councilman of religion. I give you advantage on it.
I will attempt it because it would be useful. I don't have great faith in this. Where is my persuasion? Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, you speak to the sort of priest there, and he's a little bit too precious of it. Like you sense he's a little bit too precious of all the things that are here.
Yeah.
Mars, that's it. God of War, Mars. Yeah, he's a little bit too precious for stuff.
No, that's cool. I will thank them for their time and be on my way. I'm gonna leave the Eberroth stuff alone, given my history.
Entirely fair.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Nevado, anything from you? Can you think of anything that you would like to potentially look for?
I don't think so. I mean, that's pretty chill. Good to go.
I will say just a couple of other items that you would find in and around some magic shops. Just looking around. So there is impact armor, armor that gives you resistance to bludgeoning damage and falling damage. Specifically, when you land, you can, instead of taking falling damage, create a big blast around you. There is a Wand of Frost, has 10 charges. You can use an action to expend one or more of its charges to cast either Cone of Cold, Fog Cloud, Ice Storm, or Wall of Ice. And there is a Ball of Mitre.
Mitre football.
Ball can be thrown or kicked at any creature within range of 60 feet with a strength of proficiency, proficiency in athletics. On a hit, the target takes 1d6 bludgeoning damage. If you are in cold weather or a spell that deals cold damage cast upon the ball, the ball deals an additional 66 cold damage to the target.
What the fuck is this item?
You can perform a skill move to gain momentum on the attack, increasing the damage. You can perform an acrobatics check. DC will depend on the damage. On success, the critical hit range of the ball increases by 2, and it deals additional damage dice both on the bludgeoning and the cold. On a failure, however, on a skill check, you fall prone. So you trip over the ball and you fall.
I almost want to say that just for the shits and giggles.
So yes, you could potentially beat Balzanor or beat Borisov with a rainbow blade. Potentially.
But still back to that armor price.
The impact armor?
No, the one, so my +1.
Oh right, yes, +1. So
I just want to try and negotiate it.
Okay, yeah. Roll. How would you try and persuade this dude to give you it for a lower price?
I would. See, I'm good at intimidation, but that's not really how Gui works. Yeah, I'll just say, it's for a big cause, a good cause. So help a sister out.
Okay. Roll a standard persuasion. Then.
That's dreadful.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not decreasing the price. They've after the recent hit to the capital with that, they're paying more taxes.
Yeah.
People got
and some straight G. I'll pay it.
You paid $1,000 for $1,000 for +1.
Yeah.
Cool. You pay $1,000 in 2 days. The item will be ready.
Okay.
They do put it on a bit of a rush job. They are aware of Erie people. They're aware of the bringers, people that have actually fought in the siege and have done stuff. So it is it is put on the front of the list at the very least. But they're not. Cool. Any more? Obviously, I've seen in the chat you're going to snag a book of fire resistance, triple case, 200 PP, that's perfectly fine. If no more, the day rolls on. You go to bed, you wake up, you can pick the specific spells, and with Glyndon feeling a bit better or whatever, you can teleport to the north. Now, paint me a picture. What kind of place are you looking for in the north? So you got the map here. Whereabouts?
This is like a couple of days later, by the way.
This, I'm going to say this is the next day, or
Okay.
unless
I don't want to go until the armor's done.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, paint me a mind picture. Whereabouts are you looking to do this kind of thing?
Anywhere in that circle.
Somewhere in that circle. I love it. Yeah, on the sort of sides of these like mountain ranges, what sort of forms into the sea. Really quite
Maybe-
cold over there. Pretty cool, good idea.
Maybe in the side of this mountain right here.
Love it. You after teleporting around and traveling around, particularly Nevada, you're doing a druid of the
mountains.
of the mountains. To pick out a very, very good place, I would trust that Nevada. He's been in a cave. He knows a good
He
cave.
knows a cave, yeah.
He knows a good cave when he's seen it. Maybe he's lived in this cave for a brief while, maybe or he's seen it.
Just vibing.
Just vibing, just hanging out. It's not a particular, as you can see there, it's not like the tallest mountain around.
Well,
It'll get the job done. You can see this as you sort of like head up. You can see this sort of like cave opening. And there's a bit of climb to get to where you need to be. There's a little bit of a cave opening. You know, you maybe have to deal with like a bear or something living in there or some shit. But there's a bit of cave opening. It's not a very tall cave. It's not a very big cave, in fact. At the minute, it's about sort of 20 feet by 20 feet. You're going to have to clear a decent size out at the very least. So, and with, imagine Hyman there with Earthquake, you can get to work. So, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a new blank page, and you're going to draw Mia. This is how we're going to do this. This is going to be quite interesting, actually. So on this new blank map, you're going to draw me. There is a grid, you can see there, and I'll say you can all work together sort of on this, as this would be over a number of days of the crew going back and forth, checking in on things. Paint me a picture. What kind of map are? How big? Any specific divots you want to add in it? Anything else? And then for next session, I can possibly jazz it up a little bit. But
So we want a reasonably wide open space because we want space to spread out. Yeah, I agree. A source of water might be good, as well as maybe some cover, so some columns to.
I was thinking if we got some stalagmites and stalactites and things. So we've got some. What are the ones that hang down? So some
tights.
stalagmites.
Hang down.
Because then he can't fly about too much if there's those about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we have a low enough ceiling that he can't fly at all, that's probably the best thing.
Yeah,
True.
we can keep it.
To make it like a 10,
10.
15 foot.
Yeah, as long as I can swipe it, because to be honest, like if he goes up in the air, that's nullifies me quite a bit. But if he's like within my melee range, I can fuck him up.
Are you just 5 foot range?
5'11".
What's your range?
Yeah, 5 foot. Yeah. So anything within 10 feet. If that's the height of the ceiling, I can reach him.
Gary with sword up will be reach 10 feet.
Yeah.
10 foot tall.
Yeah.
No.
Are you happy with that circle size that we've drawn there? Bear in mind, this is
we definitely want it bigger than that.
See a grid, so literally draw how big you would like it to be. This is interesting. Unless you would like me to make the grid bigger.
Why do you want it bigger, JD?
I think because we want the ability to spread out around him. Like spread out, because if he's going to be throwing, he's I mean, thinking about sort of fire spells, fireball, wall of fire, firestorm, stuff like that, they can take up a large area, and we want to spread out around him so that he's got less ability to hammer us all at once.
Okay.
So,
So,
what is
still don't think
the
we want it
dimensions
too big.
of this map?
the dimensions of this map are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75. 90, 95.
120
Yeah.
square, it looks like.
120 square feet. So 120 by 120 feet. Is that too big or too small?
Looks like 125. It looks like.
Okay.
But I would.
80 foot.
Yeah, that probably seems about right.
All right.
Got a bit of space to move around, but then it's not too big that things are going to be like massively out.
Because if he can move quickly as well, which potentially I can't remember how fast he can move when he summons his wings. We don't want our melee fighters to have to spend the whole time
Just
running
chase
after him.
I do have I have a little bit of like increased movement, but I can't sustain that for the whole fight.
No.
So I don't think it's too big. I think this
But that is
Blue
an
looks
80
too
by
big to me.
80 foot square.
yeah. And then if we build up some elements into it,
Yeah,
like some
I think
some thick columns.
Yeah, a couple, maybe sort of 6 columns, 8 columns, something like that, or like 9
Where
columns.
where would you like to put them?
Where's
I know
it
we're
gone?
coming to the end of the session, but if really quick you could give me an idea of whereabouts you'd like stuff.
Whoever's drawn that X, I sort of agree with that. Yeah, like the
Like,
three on each side, I think.
yeah, sort of vaguely, like relatively evenly spaced to like give some like structure to it and like limit the movement a bit, but also some like lines of sight cover for our squishies and things like that.
I reckon 10 by 10 is decent size.
10 by 10 squares.
Yeah, chance to give you a 10 by 10 feet. Yeah, gives you something to hide behind.
You can. I can just increase the size of these.
Oh, okay. But just as a vague,
Yeah.
and then probably, and then just like evenly space them probably. So however that works out when you're making it.
Yeah.
I think water's a good idea as well, in case he's got the ability to like set something on fire, so you can like dunk yourself in that maybe. I think that's a good idea, Luke.
Yeah.
Kaiman, anything that you
Create
think
water.
we need?
If you're fighting a demon of fire and rage, and you had to pick the terrain, what kind of stuff would you want in that terrain? So you've got cover and columns, you've got an area of water.
Some kind of crack. Keep him still. Is that
Giri has sentinel feet, so I could potentially keep him still, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea either, Carmen.
Yeah.
just to like
Yeah.
when just just so that if someone is hurt, then they can get out of the way and not just be chased the next turn.
Yeah. So the gate spell opens a portal between 5 and like 20 feet in diameter, so we could plan like a section like in the middle where we plan that. If it took a bit more time, maybe we could like create like a sort of like a 10-foot square in the middle and like put bars around it or something. So that like when we summon him through, he's like imprisoned in this cage.
Well, and then we just like rain on him.
Yeah.
So what's stopping him from just going back out?
There's no door.
you can drop concentration, and so that'll get rid of the portal, which stops him going back through it.
Yeah, I think we might have to do that.
I don't know what capabilities he's got about, like, he could like thunder step and stuff, couldn't he? So he can, wherever we wrap him, he's probably just gonna be able to like bounce out of it around the room.
Have we got much in the way of counter spell? It's probably just the radar, isn't it?
I don't think anyone's got counter spell.
I don't think Raiders got it.
Oh dear.
I believe anyone on this team does not.
I don't think anyone in this team can pick it up.
Is it third level? Fourth level?
It's third level.
Yeah, I've not got it.
I don't think anyone can pick it up in the team because we got 2 clerics, a fighter, a druid.
Yeah, you just can't get it.
I just got to tank him then, I guess.
I'm not so far. I mean, obviously, it'd be good to if we could counterspell his fireballs, but it's more like JJ said, just his. I mean, also, I'm pretty sure he's teleported away from us before. So
your first encounter with him, Doc remembers that after an off a fireball and you guys trying to hit him, he did.
Hold on. Let me think. You create water, refrigeration, creature can't teleport in. Or use portal.
You think it's forbidden?
Yeah, but forbidden breaks the gate spell.
And yes,
forbidden blocks the gate spell from working. That's annoying. That's annoying. Forbidden breaks the gate spell.
I think we should call it there and take some time. I think.
It's a good idea. Let's call the session and we'll take some time to.
So, are you all?
That is an option if he doesn't pass the save, Luke.
Yeah. Are you all happy with that map as it stands? Yeah. Obviously, even some things out, but otherwise, are you happy with playthrough half your late?
And I think there would probably be like an exit, like in this vicinity, like there would be like a tunnel like behind a wall here that Nevada would seal off before we started or something like that.
Right. So he doesn't know it's there, but you guys know it's there.
Yeah.
So Nevada could potentially. Okay, I like this. Yeah, I like the sound of this. You guys making a thing. Yeah. No, that could be kind of cool.
Just so we do like potentially like actually have a way out.
His terrain. He's going to face you and yours. I like it. All right, cool. If you guys have any more ideas of stuff in the week, let me know. But otherwise, I will have this map jazzed up for a little bit next week. And I think it's safe to say that next week we are going to. I might make a roll or two here and there to make you guys make a roll to sort of see how well you construct this place. We are level 17 characters now, so I believe we can do it pretty well. It might just be things like structural integrity of the columns and yada yada yada. But spells do specific things, and so you can create certain stuff. I'll try and get this ready for you guys, and I think I'm happy to say that next session we'll pick up with this thing made, your armor done, and maybe in the week I'll drop a couple more sort of magic items and things in that work in and around that you might have been able to pick up. And if there's anything else, that you guys think, yes, maybe this would be good, you can message me and you guys can have a little bit of time to figure that out. Obviously, yes, you want to be prepared for this potentially quite brutal fight. But if you're as excited as I am, because I'm really interested actually. Yeah, you guys having a bit more control over the playing field. That could be really cool. So, I'll speak to you guys.
Quick one next week. I can't do Thursday, so can we rearrange to Tuesday? Does that work with everyone?
No, I completely forgot. I'm on holiday in Somerset next week.
Okay, I shouldn't have seen then.
Alrighty then. So I won't see you next week. I'll see you the week after.
What day again?
Next week.
Fuck it.
Sunday to Saturday.
Okay.
Fair enough. Enjoy.
Yeah.
yeah, looks like we'll be skipping a week next week then, and the week after, I will have this all set up for you, and we should be ready to jump into it fairly soon after the session starts. Off, we sort out one or two little bits. Hope you've all enjoyed after this little bit of hiatus. I know we had a little bit of sort of admin stuff to do and just figuring out where to go, but that's just what happened. The characters figuring out what they're doing, where they're going. Otherwise, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll speak to you guys later.
See ya.
Cheers.
Have a good one.
Later.
Bye.